Hey, I hope everybody's doing well. This is treacherous times, but they say that hope is on the horizon, right? I told you about herd immunity. More people are getting vaccinated, right? Like that, and more people have had the vaccine, right? Did not. So we are. They say April, right? That was what I told you last time. They said by April, right? Some people were saying, but I think that's a little premature. I think they're gonna want to push it to like July or so. That way Biden and this administration can say, look, we did everything. The last administration was so horrible. They were just mismanaged everything. And we came in and we saved the day. We're the heroes of everything. Come and have the ticky-tack parade and praise us and put us on pedestals and worship us as all beings, as we think we should be, because we're legends in our own minds. But no, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. That's what I think is going to go on. You know what I mean? And so I think we all know that. I think that's what we all know politics is kind of like, right? And but that's kind of hope, right? I mean, that's right around the corner. I mean, they said 2 weeks to the curve. It's now been a year, and I mean, look how fast the year goes. It's only 6 months, and so we got another quarter and a half, maybe. That's not that far, you know what I mean? We could do that on the toilet, in my opinion. And so, but I do think that they're just if you think about it, right, they're just keep telling us the same thing, right? There's new guidelines came out from the CDC about fully vaccinated people, and when they mean fully vaccinated, they mean 2 weeks after you've had both shots, from the Moderna or the Pfizer, not just the Johnson & Johnson, which is just one shot, right? And so but if you think about it, right, here it is, right? Fully vaccinated people, right, should wear a mask and social distance when in public, right? They should take precautions when visiting non-vaccinated people, right? Like doing the same thing that you would do normally, right? As you're doing right now, as they want you to do, as they want you to do since February and March of 2020, the same thing. Right? Avoid medium and large size crowds. Don't go into any kind of concerts, conventions, or weddings, funerals, or birthday parties, or anything, because things might be kind of opening up, but they don't want you to really do anything, because they want you to control your lives. That's what this is all really about. It's really, I think a lot of don't let a good crisis go to waste, right? Well, I think this is when they overplay their hand, is when they overdo this, and then they think that you're just a bunch of dories, right? Just dumb, just keep hush women, right? And when she's reading that sign, escape, oh, it's like escape, and then you got Gary Clampers, because it probably is, and he didn't even know how to read, right? And that's what they think. They think that they're like the Gary, right? The rational, smart, intellectual. We're just going to be cautious in everything, right? And they think that everybody else is dory, just dumb, irrational, impulsive, dumb fish. That's in my honest opinion. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, I could be a little biased here, but probably not, right? I'm more of the side of maybe we should have a little bit more hope. Maybe people should have some stuff to live for, because especially after 2020, when everything was burning down to the ground and people were like, oh, you're this and you're that and this is Mayor Garcetti, remember last year, everything is canceled, you can't do nothing. I mean, what's going on here, buddy? What's up, man? Did you not have fun growing up? Were you picked on? I think all these kinds of people were kind of picked on growing up, and now they're like, now we can have our revenge. All the people that picked on us, now we can do all of the stuff that we've always wanted to do, right? I think kind of it's almost like Revenge of the Nerd status, right? And that's why they got Fauci as our top priestess guy, right? Their top guy, right? Probably the most loneliest kid. Always ate by himself at lunchtime. Never really had any friends, right? I mean, and now he's like, I got all of it. That's why he doesn't want any of this to end, because he doesn't want the fame, the lights, the camera, and the action stuff to go away, right? But he doesn't know when to Johnny Carson it. I think a lot of these people really don't know when to just Johnny Carson it, and that's why we see all these people like Andrew Cuomo and all these other kinds of people like that, right? They're just going on and on. Gavin Newsom, These, right? Because they don't know when to just get out. They're in it for the wrong reasons, and they're making all the bad decisions. And they think that it's all cool because they've had media, the left-wing media. They've had all kinds of other people, like surrogates, their friends, whatever, that would just go out and just help them out, right? And that's kind of like why people in New York, especially, are kind of afraid to speak out, right? That's why you got like the 5 now women that are accusing Andrew Cuomo of sexual misconduct. But some of them are kind of okay. Like, he tried to get to first base, he didn't really get there. He's kind of a creepy guy, but okay, we'll get it. A lot of this stuff, especially when you're in a powerful position like Governor Andrew Cuomo is, I get it. A lot of this stuff is not about sex, right? It's almost like you're in prison, right? It's like they don't really, butt pirate you, but you got, for the fun of it, right? They do it for the power, for the humiliation, right? So that everybody else will know, right? And look at you different. And it's the same kind of stuff, right? To kind of make you feel small and make them feel big, almost like Matilda, right? I'm big, you're small, I'm right, you're wrong. And this is kind of like the power thing that we're in, right? And it's kind of like, does that make sense? I think that can kind of make sense for a lot of people, right? Kind of put that in some perspective there, right? And it's kind of really, that's really un-American and undemocratic, right? You have Andrew Cuomo saying to Brett Kavanaugh, you need to resign, and all this kind of stuff. But Blasey Ford had like the most flimsiest story ever, right? Of claims, right? Women should be heard. Those kinds of claims should be heard, especially when women have a harder time speaking out because of the past and stuff like that. But Andrew Cuomo, this stuff being said is not like he Harvey Weinstein anybody. He didn't Bill Cosby anybody. He didn't Matt Lauer anybody. He didn't, you know what I mean? He didn't Biden sniff anybody. He didn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't reach those kinds of caliber. I'm not dismissing it. I'm not saying that kind of stuff is wrong. Bad. Right. I'm not saying any of that. But But what I'm saying is, when you're kind of comparing that kind of stuff, right, to like real sexual misconduct, right, rape and all that kind of stuff, right, groping, everything. He did the Lindsey Boylan chick. He did try and kiss smoosh on her, right? Not cool. I'm not, he shouldn't be doing this kind of stuff, especially in the workplace during the day, as Charlie Bennett said, right? He did this during the day at work, everything else, trying to come onto her and insinuate stuff like that. That's not right. That's not a good workplace he has. That's why a lot of his other aides, male aides, are coming out and talking about, yeah, he had a toxic workplace that he had here. Yeah, he made it to where even the guys that are working here didn't want to really come here, and it was hard. He thinks he's like Tony Soprano. He thinks oh, my dad was this big governor guy of New York, and for like 3 terms in about 10, 12 years or so. He grew up in that thing, spoiled little brat syndrome and stuff, and so he thinks this is like a movie to him. He thinks this is like Tony Sopranos, and this is not a game. This is not a joke. That's why he thought, oh, and I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have done it. Hey, I want to see you eat the whole sausage, and that was a horrible impression, but you get the drift, right? But this is why you see how he's a narcissist too as well, right? He has no real compassion for anybody but himself. That's why when it came to the nursing home scandal, right? It's who cares if they died in the nursing home? Who cares if they died at the hospital? They freaking died. Blame God, blame the federal government, blame Mother Nature, blame everybody but himself, right? Who actually had the mandate from March 25th to May 29th, right? And for to put them back in there if they were tested positive, right? You had, which killed he mismanaged those numbers while he was writing that book, right? He had his aides cover up numbers, right? So we're seeing that, they were trying to say about 6,000 people or so died, but we're seeing that you got about 16,000, 15,000 old senior citizens have perished due to that, or to that mandate of Andrew Cuomo, right? And there's no remorse or anything for that, right? That's horrible. I mean, where's the justice for any of that kind of stuff, right? That's 16,000 people. That's like, what, three and a half 9/11s. Like, that's insane. Almost 5 9/11s. No one cares? Like, that's crazy, folks. Like, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, right? So in March, April, May, on top of that, right? So in the middle of doing that, right? He had to have known that he was screwing up, at least in the middle of that, right? So maybe April, he had to have known, hey, this is not working out. Their numbers, are going up and not going down. This is not great. So why would he then put an order in for the developmentally challenged, right? The ones that are not as doing so well. They have problems either mentally or physically. Why, so they're in group homes and everything else where they get assistance. Why would he then put COVID patients positive into those homes as well, which have killed about 552 of those patients, right? So, I mean, his numbers is going up. He has more numbers than the Clinton crime family. This is insane, people. And people are like, oh, it's okay. Look at these 5 women. He touched my hand. He asked if he wanted to go out with me. Like, okay, I get it. He tried to get to first base with you, but compared to him killing like 16,552 people, I mean, come on, folks. And then you got Gretchen Whitmer, doing the same thing. She's fudging numbers everywhere out going around, right? But she's like, oh, poor me, blah, 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 they tried to kidnap me, which didn't. No. If anything, they would be. If anybody kidnapped her, the kidnappers would pay to have her to return her. They would not be ran. No, sorry, no one's buying that one. But ask yourself that, right? So he then hires a lawyer, right? He doesn't hire, you think you would hire a lawyer like in that expertise, right? So he hires a lawyer that previously defended Harvey Weinstein and Woody Allen, right? Okay, I don't understand why. I don't think those people had anything to do with nursing home deaths. They had sexual misconduct deaths, but hey, maybe it's a twofer, right? Who knows? He's deflected, saying it's all a joke. That he even denied it. And then when Nancy Pelosi comes out, she only, what does she know? She has to know a lot of stuff. I mean, she's been in power for almost 20 years or so, over 20, 30, 40 years, right? She has to know a lot about this kind of stuff, right? DC is not that far from New York, right? So she had to know, but she just says it's credible and there needs to be an investigation, right? Andrew Cuomo just says, oh, I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to make my intent wasn't there. It doesn't matter if your intent was there or not. Wrong is wrong, right was right, and you shouldn't be touching people, especially, you know what I mean? Like your subordinates, and as a good leader, he would know that, right? So, you have over 21 and this is a bipartisan effort. I mean, this is one thing is uniting people is to get rid of Andrew Cuomo. Cuomo, no mo Cuomo, right? Hashtag. He has to go. I mean, this is not the kind of stuff we need. This is, I mean, if we're trying to even build back better, as Biden would say, this isn't great. And if we want to keep America great on both sides, right? I'm trying to just stay in the middle here and keep everybody, hey, let's keep it rational and not just be on both, one side or the other, kind of like a baseball team or a cult, right? But what I'm saying is, let's really talk about that. I mean, he has to go. And he's like, no, I'm not going to resign or submit or be gone or like that because he doesn't want to be defeated. That's that narcissist in him. That's another reason why he has to really go, because he can't govern like this. You have all kinds of scandals. You have sex scandal. You have a nursing home scandal. You have, all kinds of stuff. You have voting with no confidence. They're trying to impeach him. Like, think about if this was Trump and all these allegations would go, right? Everybody would be having a field day if this was the other way around. And that's what I'm saying. If you can just, if these situations occur and you can just replace that person's name with someone that you don't like or you do like, and all of a sudden your feelings change, then you're part of the problem, not part of the solution. You know what I mean? And maybe you shouldn't really be having a voice in this if that's when your morals or your standards would change, right? We need to have a gold standard, one standard for everything and one standard for all things, right? That's what law and order is all about. So, think about that. So, Axios is reporting that 117,000 illegals to cross this year. I mean, we're already seeing that. They say that the 13,000 unaccompanied minors, and by minors, they don't mean like, 10 or 13, 14-year-olds. They mean like 16 and 17-year-olds. I mean, they're saying like 200 of these people, of these kids are like, under 16 or 17. But most of them, that's why Nancy Pelosi wants people 16 to vote, because the average age of unaccompanied minor is 16, 17. They project that 13 unaccompanied minors will cross this in May alone. They can go anywhere. They're getting, 2,000 of these illegals have already tested positive for corona, and they get a bus ticket and they can go anywhere they want. They're going to start putting them in military bases all around the country and flooding it and putting them in right around your neighborhood while you're locked down. You can't go anywhere. You can't go to work. These people are getting everything, right? And they have people on this side telling them, hey, come on, come. They have wearing shirts to say, Biden, let us in. This is not like this is spontaneous, right? This is, like Tom Cotton said, this is a feature of their policy, not a bug. That's why they're not trying to fix it. That's why they are not calling it a crisis. They're calling it a challenge, because they're trying to figure out how to get it to where American people won't know about any of this kind of stuff. And that's really what all this kind of stuff is about. That's why they have $1 trillion sitting there. That's why they're trying to get $2 trillion so that they can have a war chest to keep this up, to keep the vice grip of this fortified election that they have on, and to never have it let go, so that the American people will just have to work to pay China back, and to keep these illegals that they have as their new base, voting base, happy, you know. And that's just really, in my opinion, you know what I mean? So what are you really going to do about it? Doesn't seem like you guys are going to do much, because, you guys, like I said, went from boogly to boohoo real fast, and now look, they don't, that's one thing, they don't want our kids in school either, because they don't want to see how our the kids went from a 30 student classroom to a 60 classroom, and just from one pandemic to another, right? That's really what it's all really about. You know what I mean? It's about the power, it's about the wealth, and it's not really about your health. You know what I mean? So I love you guys, and remember, stand up and fight for your rights, and stand up for America. It's the only time we really can, right? It's only one generation from being lost, and don't let it be this generation.